Okay, let's move on to the Packers here. Talk a little bit about Green Bay.
And Ziggy, let's get some subs up, baby.
Yeah,
let's get some subs up.
Subs up.
Down to the real talk.
Ziggy has a great free agent acquisition for Green Bay to go after during this segment, so stick around for it. The Packers, I came into this season extremely excited for the NFL. And I was thinking to myself, all right, the Vikings looked pretty good. We were 13-4 last year, bad game against the Giants, but defense could be fixed with Flores. Detroit, hopefully that end of season run was a fluke. Wound up not being the case. The Bears, I think they'll be very mediocre with Justin Fields and kind of stuck in that purgatory. That was the case. Panthers went rogue, gave them the first round pick. Now they're getting Caleb Williams. Another horrible outcome. But by far the worst one this season was thinking that Green Bay would go into this quarterback hell, be stuck where we've been stuck for a long time. Not with Kirk, but before that, just Tavares Jackson, trying to think, Christian Ponder. It was brutal. I mean, Teddy was good, but got hurt. It's just an endless slate of quarterback misery. And I envisioned that for the Packers, and I smiled.
Oh, I'm not sure I envisioned endless like us, but I envisioned one.
Oh, at least one or two.
I thought
just one.
Well, and I thought he'd be a few weeks in, other than the Bears game, you're thinking to yourself, all right, here we go. Like this is it. This is the dream.
Like, this is Jordan Love. He stinks. That's what I thought it would be.
Oh, it was so good. And then something terrible happened. Something absolutely terrible happened. A 9-game stretch of 71% completion percentage, 2,422 yards, 21 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 116.6 passer rating. Unbelievable.
I mean, I said he was the best QB in the NFL.
Football.
Like, he was the MVP level
football. Now, a lot of people, including this show, have questioned what the hell happened. How did this happen? Packers fans in pure ecstasy, NFC North fans in pure disbelief and heartbreak. What happened here? Love went on Micah Parsons' podcast 3 weeks ago, I think, 3 weeks ago during the Super Bowl. And, Mike had the same question. He's like, how did you guys turn it around? And this is what he said here. He said, after the Vegas game, I threw 3 picks in that game. We lost, threw a pick on the last play of the game. After that game, I was like, man, I feel like I'm hesitating out there. I would see stuff I'm processing. I'd see it and hesitate to throw. And after that game, I thought, man, who cares? I got to trust myself. I know I'm a great player. I know I can read a defense right and put the ball where I want it. So I just got to trust myself, let it rip, and be confident out there. Said the locker room was great, no finger pointing. And we can do all the film analysis we want, and I'm sure you could find little things that he changed. I truly think that the turning point for Jordan Love last year was all mental. I think that he ultimately just had to get over some of his own demons. And once he started to get comfortable and confident, all the athletic tools are there. The mental game is clearly there. And then it was just a matter of how good could this guy get? Like, I think that's our answer.
I think you
disagree.
I think you could see it in the relationships that he had with the wide receivers, right? Yeah. Because early in the season, everyone looked confused, right? Jordan Love looked confused. Receivers were starting to get open, but they weren't getting the ball on time. There was miscommunication on routes. And I think a lot of that comes down to what Jordan Love just said it was. He was hesitating and he wasn't trusting himself. The guy that they were seeing in practice was not the guy they were seeing on Sunday. But once Jordan Love sort of, as he said, he had that realization, he started playing the way he was practicing. You could see it almost overnight. The receivers knew the routes to run. The balls were getting to them right on time, right? It seemed like everything was perfectly in sync. Even the offensive line started playing a little bit better. Like, once Jordan Love developed that confidence, you could just see it's exactly the same guy that everyone had been talking about all that time. And it's so frustrating.
Well said.
When you finally have that first good game, when you turn things around, that's the confidence boost, the confidence level you need. You're like, okay, I can play in this league. Why can't I do this week after week after week? And that's what he did. I also think a huge part of that quote was when he said no finger pointing. Everyone seemed to, they were patient. They trusted each other. They were young. We're in this together. We're going to improve together. That's exactly what happened.
Part of that too, that I think was very beneficial for Jordan Love is that offense was so young. Ziggy, you mentioned that the receivers sort of figured it out themselves as well. If you have, not that Devontae Adams is a diva to this level or anything, or any of these guys, those old Packers were, but if you have some more established guys in the locker room, I wonder if there's a bit more of a like, all right, come on, we got to get this thing going. when you have such a young team like Green Bay had last year, a lot of it's just like, all right, we're figuring this out together. Like we're all kind of improving at the same time.
Together, let's trust each other.
I think that was the perfect environment. Like it really was just the perfect storm.
Yeah, well, you don't have the demanding veterans who need to win now, but you also have a culture where it's expected that we're going to win. So it's not like the Panthers this year, where it's just like they're in a death spiral and no one thinks they're ever going to turn it around. There's a belief that like we're the Green Bay freaking Packers, right? When we will eventually win football games. We will eventually go to the playoffs. We will eventually win playoff games this year. We just have to figure out how to do it because we're the team of destiny every single freaking year.
I mean, you wonder if Stephon Diggs or Antonio Brown was on this team.
Oh, it's over.
If it's a
trade request mid-season.
Oh, yeah. Love throws that pick against the Raiders. And
Diggs is throwing his helmet on the sideline.
Yeah, it's weird because Diggs seems like a great teammate and then has these outbursts. But yeah, guys like that, you wonder if there's talk in the locker room or even, a coach who's a little more prone to outbursts than like if Dable, I'm thinking Dable exploding on Daniel Jones. It was kind of just the perfect environment to foster a young quarterback with all the talent in the world, just not there mentally. Think about like your job. I mean, anyone listening or you guys, like think about, Ziggy, your first day teaching. I'm sure you're a little nervous going up there in front of all the students. And then, give it a couple of weeks. All of a sudden, there's probably that one lesson. For me, there's that one piece of editing that I did where all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing now. Like this makes a whole lot more sense.
And especially when you're involved with everybody who seems to be on the same page and your age. And like when all things are clicking, there's that extreme confidence, like, okay, why we can do this? Yeah. Why can't we do this? And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. They got hotter week after week after week.
And you have Tom Clements.
What do you say, Ziggy?
And you have Tom Clements.
Yeah, and you have Tom. Yeah, that helps. Again, perfect storm. But this is what really scares me about the Jordan Love thing. I don't think is a fluke. There's that's a question that some people, it doesn't seem to be a huge question, but there are people who are wondering. What scares me about this situation is you think about the best quarterbacks in the league right now. Like Mahomes came onto the scene and was basically good immediately. Stroud right now had a few games really good. Josh Allen had a bad year, then got really good. The best quarterbacks in the league, it doesn't take that long to see how good they are.
Big Ben.
Yeah, I mean most of these guys, the guys who are really good come on and play really good football. There's very rarely do you see someone blossom like, year 3 or 4, and you might say, oh, wait, Paul, Jordan Love's in year 4 last year.
It was his first year playing.
The difference is it's his first year playing.
Yeah.
Like, once these guys play and they're on the field, the great ones make an impact immediately. And that's where I would go, oh, man, really in the grand scheme of things, I know it was a big turnaround, but it didn't take Jordan Love that long to get good.
And you'll have a lot of these people saying, and this was me for a while, can Jordan Love repeat this? This was this fluky. This was incredible what he did. But the other side of the ball is, why isn't there reason to believe now that Jordan Love can do it for all 17 games? As opposed to just 9. Like he'll come right back and pick up where he left off. Why isn't that a belief?
Yeah. That's the scary thing.